So yeah, I was in graduate school, and with 18 credits to go, some of you might understand this, I lost my financial aid. I had 18 credits left in my graduate degree in fashion and portrait photography, and the government sent me a letter that said, "Dear Mr. Shankman, we're taking away your financial aid because your parents make too much money." And I sent the government back a letter that said, "Dear government, my parents do make too much money, but they keep it." And the government didn't find that funny. And that was my first introduction to how things that you think are hysterical, turns out aren't to the people that matter. But with 18 credits to go, I moved back home to New York City. We built a newsroom that covered the OJ verdict and got it right. Time Warner Pathfinder was 2 seconds before us, and they had OJ guilty. We had it right. Okay, that was a very valuable lesson. Get shit right, because you only have one chance to not screw that up. But the thing about AOL is that while I was there, I love the stories. By the way, Wells Fargo, I know you guys are sponsoring it. A big shout out to them. When I went out on my own as an entrepreneur, and this is what I do, by the way, I have massive ADHD, so I'm gonna go off on like 15 different tangents, but I promise that I'll come back to a point. Any other ADHD out there? Good, own that shit. That means you have a faster brain, and that means that your brain is better than normal's. Okay, I run the #1 iTunes podcast, the #1 podcast on the internet for ADHD called Faster Than Normal, where we talk about how ADHD is actually a gift, not a curse. I also have a best-selling book by the same name. The podcast has interviewed people like Dave Needleman, JetBlue, Tony Robbins, all these people that have ADHD and use it to their advantage. Or got ripped to shreds by Gawker. I had that. Gawker is, I mean, thank God they're dead now, but they were a web gossip site. They had a file on me. I had about 15 different articles over the course of my online career before they got destroyed that were all negative. That's what they did. They ripped people to shreds. And you know, it didn't bother me. I got over that. You know what happened? Why it bothered me? Because my mother had to read that. I don't want my mother reading about the fact that Gawker thinks your son's an asshole. So yeah, I'd love to hear about the times that it sucked, because guess what? It's not easy. And we're going to touch on that in a little bit. But long story short, I went out on my own. I had no experience. I had no money. And I took a chance. If you're thinking about doing something and you're worried about doing it and that's what's preventing you from doing it, ask yourself a simple question. Is what I'm about to do going to land me in jail? Is it going to cause an international incident? Or am I going to be homeless? And if none of those three things come to fruition, for God's sake, just do it. The worst that happens is you fail and you try again. And as long as you learn something from the failure, I don't consider it a failure. I will never hire anyone who has not failed. I want you guys to fail. I want you guys to fail so goddamn hard that it blows your mind. You can't imagine, trust me when I say this, if you continue down the entrepreneurial path, you have no clue right now how hard you're going to fail. Like, oh my God, earth open up and swallow my ass. It's going to be terrible. And it's going to be awesome. Because every time that I've failed, and I've failed a ton, I've learned so much. And the 3 companies that I have sold came because I failed. So, why do I bring that up? Because in the summer of '98, I was living in a studio apartment, roughly the size of like you, in New York City, for $1,600 a month in rent. Here's what I learned. If I tried to do that shit today, I'd go into Times Square with my shirts, and you know what happened? Some idiot with a camera on Instagram would take a picture, post it online in 5 seconds, and within 20 minutes, there'd be 15 sites selling my idea. So what does that mean? When you have an idea, you will work really, really hard at it. You will get the audience's advice, your customer's advice to help you grow it. And you will brand the shit out of everything you do. Because if you can't get what you're building to come back to you, people need to associate the cool idea you have with the fact that you have it. Because if you don't, it is very easy to go somewhere else. I have a good friend of mine who advises Kickstarter and GoFundMe campaigns, and you know what happens on Kickstarter? There are companies out of Shenzhen, China, who do nothing but monitor Kickstarter campaigns and build prototypes faster, quicker, better, and get them to market before the Kickstarter is even done. That's what happened. Fidget spinner and a whole bunch of other products. Brand everything you do. So, started this PR firm called the Geek Factory. Again, no idea how to run a company. Made up everything as I went along. Some things were terrible, some things were great. In 3 years, we had, or 2.5 years, I guess, we had almost every .com client you could think of. This was 98, this was the .com boom. They needed PR. We were at Napster, Juno, AOL. We were doing incredible things with a team of like 7 people and clearing $25,000 retainers times 8, 9, 10 clients a month. It was insanity. And of course, anything that insane bursts. Have a plan for when your bubble bursts. All right? I sold the agency. I sold it before the bubble burst, and I said, when a company that makes online virtual pet cemeteries has 20 grand a month to spend on PR, you pretty much know the market's dead. Okay? If this company has been funded to the tune of $2 million to make online virtual pet cemeteries, that should be a really freaking big warning sign that this industry is about to pop, right? So I got out, I walked away, learned a ton of lessons, tried to take a year off. That lasted 2 weeks, I got bored. Came back to New York, consulted for several years, was very happy. I was working for clients in the customer space, in the social space, in the PR and marketing space. And then something interesting happened. I found out at that point that I was ADHD, and all the shit that I've been doing all my life that would get me in trouble and get me kicked out of school and get me beaten up and all that, all made sense. So I told all my friends, hey, I'm building a Facebook group. Join it and I'll send you queries from the media when they come to me. And I did. And the limit on Facebook was 1,500 members per group at the time. I figured it would take, several months, if not a year to get. I didn't have 1,500 friends, I didn't have 5 friends. Well, I closed out the group of 1,500 people in 4 days. And Facebook said, we're not letting you add more people and we're not sending out your emails anymore because you're doing too much of it. Okay. So I called a friend, have a stable of people who you trust to do good work, that you can push a panic button and get them to do stuff for you. Have people you trust who are graphic artists. Have people you trust who are really, really good at all the shit that you suck at. I don't know how to code, I still don't. I got a friend in Canada who does. I called him one afternoon, I'm like, can you build me a site that basically people can sign up and I can put their email in a file? He's like, yeah, give me an hour. And 1 hour later, I had the makings of a site called Help a Reporter Out. Where, anyone know Hara? Anyone know Help a Reporter Out? Cool, thank you. So, Help a Reporter Out is very simple. You sign up, it's free. 3 times a day you get an email from Help a Reporter Out with anywhere from 50 to 75 media queries from the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, CNN, Today Show, Fox, you name it. If you can answer what the reporter from that media outlet is looking for, you just click reply. And you wind up getting it in the Wall Street Journal, CNN, Fox News, Today Show, USA Today, BBC. Imagine what a really nice story about your new startup or your new entrepreneurial event would do for your business. People were paying upwards of $2,000 to $3,000 per ad per email. So do the math. 2,500 bucks times 3 times a day times 5 days a week times 4 weeks a year, 4 weeks a month times 12 months a year. From my apartment, from my couch. The actual legal entity name of the company was 2 Cats and a Cup of Coffee LLC. Because the only thing that was up when I sent out the 5:30 a.m. Harrow every morning were my 2 overweight cats and my coffee, and me. The company was acquired by a company called Cision, they're a PR newswire, for a lot of money, 3 years after I started it. And it was one of those things where they reached out to me and said, we'd like to buy your company. I said, okay, I'll meet with you, why not? That's a really nice thing to do. And you'll take me to a nice restaurant, right? And they did. They were a very nice restaurant, and they made me an offer. And I said, oh, that's really interesting. That's certainly interesting. I have to obviously think about it and discuss it with my lawyer. But I'm glad we had this initial conversation. Excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom. Close the door. Oh my fucking God! I can't believe they made me an offer for 10 times more than I thought the company was worth. 10 times more than I thought the company was worth. I am not a business guy, by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not an MBA. I thought the company was going to be worth around $1 million. They didn't think so. After the company was sold, I tried to figure out why. Why would a company buy this little thing that I built that anyone could have built for that much money? And I found out 4 reasons. Those 4 reasons are going to make up the crux of what I give you. They're very simple. I encourage you to write them down. The company who bought me interviewed about 500 random users of my service. And every single one of them said, well, yeah, I love the service. I read it every day. I'm totally addicted to it. And I love Peter. He's so great. Whenever I have a problem, he just handles it. If I have a question, he just answers it. I was spending 94% of my day answering emails. Because people had questions. I thought that's what you do. I was raised to be a nice person. I was raised to reply when someone talks to you. I was sending out 1.2 million emails a day from peter@shankman.com, which is still to this day my email. I'm going to give you all my contact info later. Imagine the week before Christmas when I'd have to delete about 680,000 out-of-office replies 3 times a day from my inbox. But I just replied to people because they had questions and I thought that's what you did. Turns out, that's not what companies do. Companies who send out emails like that, send them from addresses that read something like, do not reply to this email or we'll kill your freaking family at yahoo.com. Or, we care about what you think, please take the survey because you're really important to us and we care and want to make it better, but don't freaking answer this email, click the link. Here's the thing, guys, and this is where these 4 rules are going to become really important. You are entering the entrepreneurial world at a time where the bar for the customer experience has never been lower. As you go through your entrepreneurial journey, you start a business and you build it, you grow it, you're going to screw it up. You're going to screw it up. Remember I talked about failure? You are going to screw up bigger than you could ever possibly do. You're going to hire the wrong person, that person's going to screw you, you're going to get screwed big time. You're going to screw up and lose a customer. You're going to wake up to a tweet storm of epic proportions because someone who has a big following, you pissed them off. It's going to happen. This is life. What do you do? Get in front of it. Transparency simply means owning your mistakes. I don't need you to go super out of your way and give me a $100,000 plane to put my name on it because you screwed up and lost my seat. No, I need you to acknowledge that you did and tell me how you're going to fix it. 79% of people who complain on Twitter don't need a fix. You know what they need? A response. They need to feel heard. When you own your mistake, you turn a hater into a lover. And once you turn a hater into a lover, you know what that lover's going to do? That lover is going to take the next bullet that's coming for your heart. He's going to take it for you. So the next time you screw up, you're going to have a former hater who's now saying, no, they're not that bad. They fixed my problem. They're totally going to get back to you. Don't worry. It's going to be okay. And let's face it, no one believes how great you are if you're the one that has to be a better entrepreneur. I want to be a better human being on this planet. I want to be a better father to my daughter. The only way I can do that is to take care of myself. The only way you can create anything great at all is if you realize that you are your most important project. You don't want to lose anyone else in this industry. That's me. Last final point. I made this shirt about 3 years ago when I came up with this idea. It says, I got entrepreneur life, I got 99 problems, but a boss ain't one. And if you throw up the other slide, knowing I was coming to an entrepreneur conference today, I relaunched the Teespring campaign. I don't keep a penny of the money. I send it all to the Animal St. Animal Rescue Society that I still work with. So if you really want a t-shirt that tells people what you do and you feel like helping some homeless cats and dogs and pigs. People actually abandon pigs, what the fuck? But if you want to help some animals and wear a really cool shirt that says you love what you do, teespring.com/thugentrepreneur. I think the campaign runs for 6 days. Guys, my name is Peter Shankman. I'm at Peter Shankman. You know how to reach me. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Peter.